That's right. You know what the fuck to do. This is the Retro Kid Retronica Ice Cat on the Real News Talk channel. Back at you again with another video. So now, I want to touch on this subject in regards to Rampage Jackson's son, Roger Jackson, now being booked for an indie show despite brutal attack on Psycho Stu, a fellow indie wrestler that was brutally attacked and assaulted by Roger Jackson less than a week ago at Rikishi's promotion in Los Angeles, California. Now, a lot of us saw the video, including myself, with Roger Jackson pounding the unconscious Psycho Stu, giving him 22 blows to the face while he was already knocked out completely after that spinebuster slam that he gave him, which was part of the show. But them 22 punches that he delivered to Psycho Stu was not part of the show. It wasn't scripted. Hence why those wrestlers came in and rushed him. But Roger put up a fight though. You know, he gave those wrestlers a fight. But they weren't really trying to fight him, but they struggled to actually hold him back because he was just going wild. The guy was just going insane. He totally crashed the fuck out. You know? And what led up to this was when he was backstage. Obviously, he went to go and support his friend. So, his friend took him backstage. Then that's when he met up with Psycho Stu. Psycho Stu was like, listen, you ain't got to worry about him. You got to worry about Psycho Stu. And then Roger Jackson was like, Psycho Stu? And then Psycho Stu replied, what, you don't know me? And then Roger was like, hell no. And then that's when Psycho Stu picked up the beer can, smacked her across Roger's head. But little did he know that Roger wasn't part of the stunt. He wasn't part of the show. So that's when Roger got on his face, was like, what the fuck was that? Like, then Roger was like, listen, I'll fuck him up for real. I'll fuck him up for real. And then they were like, I know. And then Psycho Stu apologized. He's like, he didn't know that he wasn't part of the work. He was just there to support his friend and that, you know. And he just wanted to create something. And then the Samoan guy came in and said, you know what? We'll work this out. We'll make it look like you're getting your get back on Psycho Stu. You know, like giving him a little receipt. Because Roger Jackson did not see that coming. He wasn't aware of any work. Anything of that nature. He was just there to support his friend. And the last thing he expected was for a beer can to be smashed over his head. So that's when he got angry and that. But despite the multiple apologies that Psycho Stu gave to Roger, Roger was like, all right, cool. It's all good. Cool. But deep down, he never accepted this apology. He kept that animosity. He kept that anger and rage bottled up inside him. Don't forget, he's a Taurus. And for Taurus people to get mad, it takes a lot for them to reach a boiling point. So he was just a ticking time bomb. He was just waiting for the right moment to strike. Now, what made it worse is that another indie wrestler by the name of AJ Manor actually hyped him up, psyched him up, and gave him the green light to go out there and give him a receipt. He gave him a green light to actually go out there and give him a receipt. And not only that, as Roger Jackson was ringside waiting for his turn to go in the ring and attack Psycho Stu, he was streaming live on Kick. And these trolls were actually calling him a bitch and that. Oh, how can you take that, man? How can you let a man smack a beer can over your head? How could you allow that, man? And Roger was like, listen, man, what I'm about to do ain't going to be scripted, y'all. I'm going to get my get back. And what I do to the guy, people better take me off this guy. Because I ain't going to stop hitting him. You know, that's what he said, basically. You know, he was premeditating the whole thing. And now his dad, his own father, called his own son, asking him, did you get jumped by guys in tight pants? And then the son was like, no. And then the father, I believe, said that, do you want me to send some goons down there? And then the son was like, no, I'm straight. I'm all good. And he was like, all right. Even his father was calling him a bitch, as well as the trolls in the comment section while he was live streaming on Kick. Calling him a bitch and shit. So that actually angered him. That pissed him off to the point where he's thinking now, okay, I'm going to show people what type of crasher I really am. He wanted to prove himself that he ain't no bitch, that he ain't no sucker. So now it was his turn to go into the ring now. And as he went into the ring, okay, he lifts up Psycho Stu. Psycho Stu saw that coming. And then he slams his head onto the mat. And then from that point on, that's when Psycho Stu was out cold. And to add insult to injury, this guy punched him. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Hell, not even 10 times. 22 fucking times. 22 blows to the face. It was so bad that the wrestlers had to jump in and hold this guy back to prevent him from doing further damage or possibly killing the guy. Because that's what he was trying to do, basically. He was trying to end this guy's life. Unnecessarily, man. The guy went psycho mode himself. Psycho Roger, more like. He was the real psycho in that moment. The real life psycho. It was so bad that he even punched the wrestler that was holding him back. The first wrestler that tried to stop him. The big guy. He punched him in his eye. It took 3-4 wrestlers to hold him back. The referee was so scared that he didn't even know what to do. He was confused. It just goes to show you that all these guys are amateurs, man. They're beginners. They're rookies. They don't even know what the fuck to do. They don't even know what the fuck to do in these situations. The only thing that they knew what to do in that moment was to separate and prevent their friend from being hurt even more. That's the only thing they knew how to do. The referee, where the fuck was security? Where was security? Security was nowhere to be seen, because that was supposed to be the security's job, because you're actually putting the wrestlers in harm's way, making them stop this guy, this MMA fighter. You're actually putting the wrestlers in danger, making them risk their health and potentially their lives. You know, this whole thing was just so fucking... There's a lot of irresponsibilities in this whole situation. A lot of people were at fault. It wasn't properly organized. It was just another bootleg event. And it got out of control. Hell, WWE, right? Triple H even distanced his company from this indie promotion due to Rogers' incident. This is how bad things have gotten, man. And then, as Roger left the building, when his friend escorted him out of the building, he was like, I'm sick of people playing with me. I'm sick and fucking tired of people thinking that I'm some sort of bitch and shit. And I'm gonna stand up for my fucking self. Real shit. And then one of the wrestlers that stopped Roger from killing Psycho Stu wanted a viral moment by offering him out to a fight. But luckily, Roger's friend held him back and said, look, man, you gotta go. And then Roger was like, You gotta try to jump me and shit. You can't do shit to me. You can't do shit to me. Because if his friend didn't stop him, who knows what would have happened? Who knows, man? This whole thing is deeper than what we think. Because a lot of people were involved in this whole thing and were very irresponsible. For real, for real. You made a guy, an MMA guy that has zero knowledge of how pro wrestling works, making him go out there and do whatever the fuck. And now, look what happened. The promoters are responsible. The wrestler that hyped him up is responsible. As well as Roger Jackson for his actions. Because he's a 25-year-old man, so there's no excuse for that. He's not a teenager, he's a grown-ass man. You know? His father plays a major role. Because don't forget, mental torture is worse than physical torture. Because when you mentally fuck somebody up over and over again and belittling them, something inside their psyche is going to build up. And normally it doesn't end well. Do you understand what I'm saying? So now his father is under attack, getting death threats, being racially attacked, calling him and his son a bunch of monkeys, wild animals and that. You know, and he even warned people that whoever tries to come after his son will have him to deal with and gotta go for him first. I can understand because obviously he's the father of Roger Jackson. So he will do anything to protect his son. Most fathers will anyway. So I can understand that part. But what I don't understand is that you're actually hyping your own son indirectly to do the unthinkable. Because Rampage Jackson, right, is partly responsible for Roger's outburst. He is. As well as the guy that hyped him up, that AJ Manor guy. He's partly responsible. You know? This guy has no knowledge of pro wrestling whatsoever. He's from the MMA world. He's not from the pro wrestling world. And this shit has happened in pro wrestling as well in the past. When Ken Shamrock was new to the WWF, when he faced Vader in '97, he was actually hitting him with real strikes to the point where Vader gave him a massive receipt and punched him and knocked Ken Shamrock down. You know? Braun Strowman, when he kneed Brock Lesnar in the face, I believe it was in 2018. And then Lesnar gave him an uppercut and a punch to the head. You know? So receipts are common in pro wrestling in general. Mistakes happen. Sometimes wrestlers get carried away and accidentally hit the wrestler for real, really hard. And then that wrestler gives them a receipt, getting their get back to even out the playing field. Okay, that's understandable. But this right here with Roger Jackson beating the guy down, punching him 22 times, that was no receipt. That was just total madness. That was attempted murder. And Roger Jackson said that this weren't going to be scripted. So technically, he premeditated this whole thing. Let's just say, if Psycho Stu passed away, we'll be looking at premeditated murder. But at the moment, Roger Jackson could be charged for either aggravated assault or attempted murder. Those are the charges that could be put on Roger Jackson. But so far, no arrests have been made. The LAPD are still investigating the whole situation. And I believe that it won't be just Roger Jackson that will get arrested. A few other wrestlers will too, including that AJ Manna guy, because technically he's an accessory to the whole thing. So he would be arrested too. And a lot of people in that promotion will be questioned too, behind the beatdown. And now, if Raja were to be convicted by the courts, where do I see this going? Well, me personally, he could end up doing community service. He will end up being on probation, because not only will he potentially be sued by Psycho Stu, but also doing community service. Just like Chris Brown, when Chris Brown beat up Rihanna, when he smashed her face in all those years ago. He didn't go to prison. He did community service. He was on probation. So technically, when you're on probation, when you're doing community service, you won't be allowed to leave your state. So that's the route I can see them going with Roger Jackson. I don't think he will do time in prison. I know a lot of people saying that he should do time. I mean, whatever happens to him happens, innit? Like, he deserves what he gets at the end of the day. But realistically, I could see them giving him a probation order. So he'll be doing community service. You know? He'll be attending anger management class. He'll be on tag. That's how I see the whole thing that could potentially happen. You know? It's crazy. It's crazy. Only time will tell how this whole thing plays out in the end. But the good news is that Psycho Stu has regained consciousness and is on the road to recovery. So that's good news right there. But yeah, let me get into the article anyway, because him being booked for an indie show raises a lot of eyebrows, man. Roger Jackson's brutal assault on Psycho Stu has made him one of the most hated names in the world right now. However, it seems he has now been booked for an upcoming indie show despite his actions. Indie promotion Danger Pro Wrestling took to their Instagram and announced that Roger Jackson will appear at an upcoming event following his brutal attack on Psycho Stu last week. In a bold move, Indie Pro Wrestling Company Danger Pro books now infamous son of Rampage Jackson, Roger Jackson, for upcoming appearance at their event. Stay tuned for opponent announcement and date. All dates currently listed on our Eventbrite. I don't think that's a good idea. Whoever is bringing Roger Jackson in, it's not a good idea. It's not a good look at all. It's very distasteful. It is to be noted that the LAPD is still conducting an investigation into Roger Jackson's actions and that they want testimonies from everyone involved in the incident in the first place. It's clear that Danger Pro Wrestling is trying to capitalize on all the controversy surrounding Roger Jackson, but many fans feel this is simply in bad taste, which it is, considering what Jackson did to Psycho Stu, and it's going to make the company look bad and dismissive too. It's like you're pardoning the whole situation, really and truly. Danger Pro Wrestling's choice to feature Roger Jackson while he remains under LAPD investigation has caused major debate within the wrestling community. Some argue that controversy can boost ticket sales, but many fans feel this decision is unsafe and highly disrespectful considering the seriousness of Jackson's attack on Psycho Stu. So we'll have to see how the appearance will turn out in the end. It's not going to turn out very well. And look at it. Look what this company is doing. Bringing in this loose canyon. Not a good idea, man. Do you think Danger Pro Wrestling made a mistake by booking Roger Jackson while he's still under investigation? Or will this move actually draw more fans to their shows? You know what? I see this company wants to make money. Of course, it's going to draw in attention. And it's going to draw in money as well for the wrong reasons. But at the same time, it's going to make the company look bad. For real, for real. It's going to make the company look really, really bad. Knowing the situation that's going on at the moment, right now, as we speak. But boy, I know a lot of wrestlers have commented on this situation and have gave their thoughts and opinions on it. Some have even sided with Roger Jackson, including RVD and Mark Henry. They are sided with this guy. You know? Which is pretty bizarre, if you ask me. You know? I mean, I can understand if Psycho Stu hit him with the beer can and Roger Jackson retaliated at that moment, then yeah, I can understand him going after him and doing whatever. But waiting later on, knowing that the whole thing was sorted, done and dusted, and resolved, you wouldn't think that this guy would go out there and potentially kill the man. You get me? You wouldn't think he would go that far. But hey, his career could potentially be over. Potentially. But at the same time, it might not really be over because even though he's under investigation and he could potentially be charged for what he did, doesn't mean that his career will be over. Because he can still bounce back, you know, depending on the outcome of this whole thing. But like I said, I can see Roger Jackson doing community service and being on probation. And after he's done all of that, after he's completed his probation and community service and anger management, then he'd be good to go again. Because, trust me, his father is going to fight this case and going to try and bail him out. Because even his father said that he prepared for this day. And, hey, it aged really well, didn't it? I hope he has enough money to bail his son out. But like I said, I can see him doing community service. I can't see him doing any jail time. The only time he'll do jail time is if he actually killed the guy. Then he'll definitely do jail time. But as of now, possibly not. Possibly not. I don't think his career is fully over. Seeing that promotions already want this guy due to what he did. It seems like it takes things like this. It takes stuff like this for people to get attention from other people. It's like you got to do bad in order to receive something good. Like I said, this world, right? What's considered bad is considered good, and what's considered good is considered bad. Because if you do good and you do the right things in life, you don't get anything. You don't get attention. You get ignored. People don't want you. But if you do bad, like what Raja did, if you're a criminal, you get rewarded. Just like this wrestling company is actually rewarding the guy to make an appearance and make him be part of their show. Where's the punishment in that? There is no punishment. That's why the world has gone backwards, man. We are living in the worst time in history, man. Nobody gives a fuck about humanity or human life anymore. No one cares. Everyone just wants to make a quick buck. Just like social media now, man. Everybody does things for clout. For 15 minutes of fame. That's sad, man. You know? And Gen Z is running the clout fame and the clout game. Gen Z is actually running that right now. That's why they're running loose, man. They're running around like headless chickens, doing whatever. They're the ones that are doing the killings, man. They're the ones that are disrespectful to their elders. I mean, I believe Psycho Stu's what, 39 years old? And Roger Jackson is 25. So he's a Gen Z, a typical Gen Z. Now, I'm not saying all Gen Zs are the same, but a lot of Gen Zs are pure evil, man. And I ain't saying that millennials weren't evil during their younger days, because there were a lot of evil millennials too. But where did Gen Z develop this whole evil from? Obviously, it'd be from the previous generation, which is millennials. You know? Because millennials kind of paved the way for Gen Z in a way, to a degree. But also social media has given Gen Z the green light to do whatever the fuck they want to do. That's why you have incidences like this from a guy like Roger Jackson. So, hey, we just have to wait and see how this whole thing turns out, man, because the whole thing just seems pretty fishy at the moment. Very, very fishy. And a lot of people are involved in this. You know? Hyping up a man that has no business in the wrestling business other than to support his friend attending the show. And then he gets dragged into it just because he's the son of Rampage Jackson. The fuck out of here, man. But anyway, man, that's all I gotta say. This is the Retro Kid Retronica Ice Cat on the Real News Talk channel. Let me know what you think about this situation. Anyway, until my next video, got nothing more to say. Stay blessed. Peace.